Today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to help you decide whether Men of War Assault Squad 2 is the right World War II real-time strategy game for you. By the end of this video, you will know what it's like to actually play this game to help you make an informed decision. I'm not a Men of War fanboy, just a strategy fan who took a chance on this game so I could report back with my findings to you, my fellow generals. First, give me 30 seconds to describe the game in a nutshell. If you're still intrigued after that, we'll go into more detail about how the game plays, the mechanics, and how it compares to other games you may have played. Assault Squad 2 is basically the same as Gates of Hell Ostfront, but if you haven't played that, the game looks and feels much like Company of Heroes, but with the detail and deployment mechanics of Steel Division 2. You'll command individuals, squads, and tanks from a variety of nations through many famous World War II battles, from parachuting commandos into Narvik to full-scale invasions of Japanese islands, plus a wide range of different skirmish and co-op modes. But the real USP is the ability to take direct control of any soldier or vehicle, enabling you to cook and throw that winning grenade or hit that tank in the weak spot of its armor. The game was developed by Digital Mindsoft and released in May 2014 with a ton of very positive reviews. There are several DLCs which we'll look at later and some key mods that improve the game immensely. The game hasn't been updated since 2019, but it should run fine on a potato system, and the most popular mods are still receiving love and attention. So what does the game look like when you first load it up? Single player has a bazillion different missions, particularly if you purchase the DLC bundle. Then we have online multiplayer and your typical skirmish mode. Bots only included with the right DLC. Yes, you heard that right. We'll dive into that minor detail later. In theory, there's a tutorial, but not really. The links mostly go to external videos on YouTube, which are extensive and helpful. Yes, you heard that correctly. The game kind of doesn't have a built-in tutorial, which is funny because it's a bloody complicated RTS game. There are some reasonably easy missions that guide you through the basics, but you will have so many questions after those. This is a complex and rewarding game, but don't expect it to hold your hand while you learn. You'll need to find answers for yourself. Don't worry, I'll put a top tips for beginners guide together in a separate video, so look out for that if you do purchase the game. The setting is obviously World War II, but it's global. We have the Soviets, Japanese, USA, Germany, and the Commonwealth, so this is a comprehensive World War II experience, even if you do occasionally hear a dodgy accent for Japanese dialogue.
The home islands are under attack, Shosa.
Yeah. In Assault Squad 2, you'll spend your time ordering infantry and armor into key locations, a squad splitting into pairs to move from cover to cover, working together with tanks and support weapons to successfully attack or defend a point. You can take direct control of individual units, be it tanks, heavy machine guns, artillery, or to order infantry to throw grenades, and you can even cook the grenades. So in one moment you're commanding an entire battle, very much like Company of Heroes. Then you're using WASD to make a soldier crawl towards an enemy gun emplacement with a grenade in hand. We have knife-wielding stealth missions, well-armed paratroopers taking on infantry and armor, and we have all-out warfare. You'll often handpick where individual soldiers go as you make use of cover and attempt to draw fire as you flank the enemy. Even though your infantry may start the game in a squad, you can disperse and reform squads in an instant by simply highlighting them in whichever way suits you at the time. These groupings are reflected in a handy set of symbols on the left of the screen, where you can select squads and tanks easily. Certain soldiers are better at using certain weapons, but any soldier can be allocated to support weapons, such as heavy machine guns, mortars, etc., if one of the original soldiers has died, and you can choose between different types of shells in anti-tank guns or tanks. You can even make soldiers stand up or go prone, make them holster their weapon, scavenge from dead bodies, pass each other equipment, a lot of which can be done using flexible hotkeys. Tanks can be damaged in various ways, so you'll occasionally need to cover the tank crews as they repair the damage. Thankfully, you can slow the game speed down while you get to grips with all of this, as it is overwhelming at first. There is no base building in the traditional sense, but you can construct basic layered defenses with sandbags and anti-tank mines, for example. There are trench systems in the game, but you can't build new trenches or foxholes, which is a shame, but nothing a good mod can't sort out. Defending is important, but combat is mostly very fluid as you try to outmaneuver each other. You don't have to build an economy in Assault Squad 2. It's much like Steel Division 2 or Company of Heroes, where your manpower ticks up over time, and you spend that on reinforcements when you have enough. Without the traditional base building or economy from most RTSs, the game allows you to concentrate on the fighting. But what it does give you is an insanely detailed inventory system. Just like in Gates of Hell Ostfront, you can look at the inventory of any soldier, who all have their own names by the way, and see exactly how much ammunition and what kind of ammunition that individual has. And yes, when they run out, you need to find a way of replenishing that ammo. Planning ahead is essential, but sometimes you just need a guy to go on an ammo run before your MG42 runs out. Deployment works much like in Steel Division 2, more powerful units cost more manpower, and some are also locked behind a timer, plus the amount of units you can deploy is limited by command points. The units tend to deploy at the edge of the map, so there's greater emphasis on predicting your needs for the next 60 seconds. We also have special points which are separate to manpower and are used to deploy more powerful units, but once your special points are gone, they're gone. So they're much like a trump card that can have a huge impact on the game. As Assault Squad 2 takes you all around the world, there's a huge variety of terrain. Tanks are vulnerable in an urban setting, but rule the open fields as you would expect. You'll be zooming right into the map to see whether a slight hill is blocking the view of your machine gun. The level of detail when it comes to destruction is impressive, and you may find yourself blowing up buildings purely to give your troops line of sight. There are a ton of different units in the game. If you like your World War II hardware, this is going to be a big factor for you because Assault Squad 2 truly delivers, as you can see in this sexy tank catwalk. There is a nice variety in the squads too, depending on the weapons they possess. Whether the squad has a light machine gun or not will be a major factor in how you attack or defend a position. We also have medics to revive fallen comrades, and my personal favourite, the radio operator, who can call in an artillery strike. Bear in mind also that with the detailed inventory system, soldiers can effectively change roles by looting other soldiers or simply swapping gear between them. As good as the underlying mechanics are, we can't escape the fact that this game was released in 2014. And when it comes to the visuals, the sound and the aesthetic in general, it's beginning to show. Don't get me wrong, the game looks great given its age, and for many running older systems you wouldn't look to run it on ultra settings anyway. By modern standards, the old girl is starting to show her age, but strategy gamers tend to be more concerned with solid mechanics, which Assault Squad 2 has in abundance. The AI is another area where this game shows its age, whether it's a soldier standing next to a trench rather than in it, or the AI using high explosive shells against the tank. It's absolutely fine to have a casual match against, but if you know you have a particularly keen eye for flaws in AI, you'll notice it in this game. The single-player campaign is absolutely huge. There's so much variety, and you can even get the choice to skip the stealth part of missions, which is a nice touch. The objectives in the campaign don't often move beyond blowing something up or capturing an area, but there's a huge variety of ways you can achieve these objectives. You can even play co-op with friends, which is a popular feature. The skirmish mode offers an equally large variety of maps, a mixture of fun game modes, and you can play 8 versus 8, which is pretty insane. Also, lag. Online multiplayer is surprisingly active, so if that's your thing, you're in luck, as long as you're not overly fussed about having an ultra-low ping, and you might get kicked from the lobby occasionally because everyone can see you're new at the game. The gem editor deserves an honorary mention, as it's something you may spend plenty of time playing with, creating your own maps or just creating battles. It's fun. It's really fun, and one advantage of the game being mature is there are plenty of details on how to use and get the most out of the gem editor and the game in general. The base cost of the game is $30, £20 or €25. However, in the regular sales, you'll see an 80% discount, bringing the cost down to just $5, £4 or €5. The first DLC, Iron Fist, gives you tank battles, but some players hate it as you're forced into the direct control mode. Next up is the controversial Airborne DLC, Controversial because you have to buy this DLC in order to play against AI bots in the skirmish mode. Yep, that's a dickhead move if I ever saw one, but you do get a few single-player missions which involve stealthy paratroopers. Then finally we have the Ostfront Veteranen DLC, which basically gives you a new faction which is very similar to the German faction. But you should forget everything I've just told you because the War Chest Edition gives you absolutely everything, and you can pick it up outrageously cheap in the sale at less than $10. Honestly, this is the only way to go, as it comes with so much content, and you don't have to worry about what's locked behind a DLC. The good news is the fun doesn't stop there. The mod scene is particularly active to this day, with names such as Rob's Realism and Valor that change the game significantly, or a mod to make trench digging possible, and of course, the obligatory Star Wars mod. There's a lot of mods, and many are still being supported. So let's cut to the chase. Is Men of War Assault Squad 2 worth it for you today? It's as if the developers care more about realism than balance, creating a challenging set of scenarios where there are very few rules, and you just do what you need to do to get the job done. Often the answer is logical rather than learning mechanics. Finding the right button on the UI, however, is not always easy. If you thought Company of Heroes lacked depth, Assault Squad 2 is worth a try. If you like Gates of Hell Ostfront, it's an obvious choice for you too. Still, Division 2 fans will find themselves surprisingly at home with the resource and deployment mechanics, and even Foxhole fans will find something familiar in the direct control and the logistics. The game may be starting to show its age, but being able to take direct control of a Tiger tank will never get old. There's an engaging and challenging campaign, a wide variety of skirmish mode options, and a relatively active online player base. Great choice for any RTS fan, and if you like the World War II setting, it's a no-brainer. If you enjoy World War II or strategy content, you may enjoy my other videos, so feel free to check those out. If you're still undecided and have questions about Assault Squad 2, just let me know in the comments below. If you're a veteran of the game, thanks for watching, and let me know if you have any tips for new players. They're always welcome. See ya.